Hello, welcome. So beautiful to connect with you. I hope that you're doing well and enjoying this beautiful summer that we've been having if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. It's been a little while since I've offered up a video, and yet I tend to only offer up when I'm feeling a deep connection with my own inner wisdom to share. And I've come through something over the last week that was pretty intense, and so it felt like the right time to share now that I'm through and I've done the integration work. So one of the things I learned very early in my shamanic training was this concept of living deaths. This is when you are alive and aspects of you die off. And you'll start to notice this process when the ways you saw yourself, the way that you believed things about life, related, saw, maybe how you felt in your body towards yourself, towards others, or physical experiences start to get very intense. I know for me, when I was in my early 30s, I got struck with fibromyalgia, and that's just one example. And also then we have this relationship with our emotional body as well, which might look like you start having these emotional catharses. You find yourself crying a lot more, and it feels like it's random, and yet the truth is, nothing is random. Even if we don't understand it in the now, there is always a perfect order to everything. And so definitely over the last 2 and a little bit years now, I feel like living in this state of this molting, this shedding, this parts of me breaking off, falling away. And these living deaths are so important because nature, life, the universe, it wants to evolve. Constant evolution. Because if we're not evolving, we are dying. So this is a good thing when we're in this, let's call it the grind, the churn, the alchemy. And so it reached a head a couple of weeks ago where I just found myself in this very dark place of despair. And it was like the oxygen was being sucked out of my life. And because I've been going through enough of these over the last 20 years and am acutely, aware of this process, that the kindest way to meet these living death shedding moments is to surrender to them, to yield, to soften. I knew that it was time for me to do a spiritual journey, and what that looks like is working with plant medicine that brings me into an altered state. So for myself, I went up into a place in nature that feels very safe, and I spent a couple of days in this little one-room building house on the mountain, and I did a mushroom journey, so working with psilocybin, and the intention was to grieve, to just meet whatever was there, whatever needed to come up. And my Lord, it was incredible that not only did I do a lot of shedding, but even nature was mimicking outwardly this chaos, this turmoil, this churning that I was in. It was the weekend where there was just a tremendous storm. There was hail as I was starting the ritual and ceremony. And the layers of compacted, deep grief, sadness, holding it together, the overwhelm, the burdens, all of this stuff was coming up It was like, a page in this book of wisdom was being revealed. And I was seeing exactly in a very practical way how the story had been written and how I played a part in it. Now, one of the things that I want to add here is that we truly do the best we can. And if we're not taught how to meet adversity with grace, with compassion, with kindness, we are going to often superbly contract, shut down, and shut in because we don't know how to meet it. It's overwhelming to us. And so I had these aspects of young girl parts of me, teenage parts of me, the young mother. I mean, I was 21 when I had my first child, and I raised my sons on my own, except for maybe 6 years of their entire growing up period. And so there was just so much. There was guilt, there was shame. And why I'm bringing this up for you, life again is about evolution. If we're not evolving, we are shutting in, shutting down, we are diminishing our life force, and we are choosing a slow death, a decay. All right? What life offers us as well, as we are in these evolutions, are opportunities to review aspects within us, stories, beliefs, systems that are hardwired into the cells in our body, into our mind, the neuroplasticity, reviewing so that we can change. We can release those things that are no longer offering us blessings, benefits, gifts, helping us, supporting us in our evolution, but rather are dampening us, contributing to this death cycle. Every single one of us, if you're aware or not, are going to go through these initiatory moments where life is presenting to you opportunities to see the truths, those things inside that you've suppressed, you've repressed, you've denied, you've shelved. Now, why I chose to create a medicine journey was because I'm aware enough after 33 years on this path, if I don't make space for it voluntarily, life is going to bring me to my knees, and I might have my face in the dirt, and I'm not going to be getting up until I meet these things. So I prefer a more graceful approach. When I feel the tension mounting inside of me, I know it's time. Sometimes I push it off for a while, but when the head starts to come, I know, okay, Lana, it's time for you to choose to show up and meet graciously whatever has to be revealed, and then make an executive decision about what to do with it, pivot or not, or it's going to be rough, it's going to be brutal. And how that might show up is you're going to notice your life starts to get a bit more chaotic, tense. Maybe you suddenly lose a job and then you're unemployed for a stretch of time and you start to panic, especially if scarcity is one of your things. Scarcity is definitely mine. And maybe it's a relationship just suddenly ends and now you're alone for a while, or you end up in the succession of really broken, damaged partnerships that are just making you feel like even more distraught because it's bringing up your stuff. There's so many ways. Maybe your body suddenly gets unwell. So, my friends, please Start to notice how life is talking to you, what is coming up for review, and find a way to bravely start to meet this. What I do is I get grounded. I find myself coming into a slower, deeper relationship in my body. Because when we are in fear, when we are in denial, we are in an upward current of energy within our body. So we're actually lifting up and out of the discomfort. So by grounding down, coming in, getting embodied, we have a better opportunity to slow down, to feel the dissonant energy, to hear the wisdom of that inner guide within, and start to make change. I truly hope this is helpful for you. Find your calm center. Come within. Allow Spirit to create the next best version of you. And say yes. Blessings to each and every one of you as you navigate this very challenging time of change. Much love.